song, and I heard the first song, and I said, this sounds like almost a perfect song, and I was gonna, but then I heard Daddy's Home, and I went with that one. And then you played the only peppy and happy, tune there in this, and I'm gonna stick with AJ's Daddy's Home out of the three.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, that is a real good song. It was redone again right after these guys did it. I think by one of the Jacksons or
Jermaine.
Yeah,
we did it.
I think it was Jermaine.
it was.
Yeah, it's just a good song. I always liked it. And I'm going to put one quick question out there and then let others call. And it's I heard this. I get a lot of my things from listening to ON Music, and on the weekend they have Casey Kasem, right? And he has all these little facts and things. This guy, singer-songwriter, he co-wrote the song and sang it himself back in '62, and it was a hit. It was number one, and he, it was a pop, rock hit. He redid the song in 1975. He slowed it down a little. He did a different arrangement of it, and again, it didn't reach number one, but it reached like number 7. Who's the singer? And don't blurt. We'll let people call in on this one. Who's the singer, and what was the song title? That's my question, and that's it. Over
Okay.
and out.
All right. Good morning. To whom am I speaking?
Paul in Fort Myers, Florida.
Oh, Paul, how's Fort Myers?
Awesome.
Good for you.
Yeah, blue skies in 70.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Gary, we have a new listener today. My Aunt Sue Holmes here in Fort Myers. So we heard the song. I love Eddie's song. We got a stalemate here because I like Eddie's song, and she likes AJ's song, Daddy's Home. And she remembers, you go ahead, Sue. Tell them what you remember about the first song.
About the first time, I'm not too sure, but it brought back memories of going to Warner's in Central Falls.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was the dance hall that you would go to, and so it brought back memories of that.
I was at Warner's every Friday night. I loved it.
So I'm sorry, dear. What is your name?
Suzanne.
Suzanne.
Holmes.
Suzanne, you obviously are new, and you obviously don't know the rules of this program. But you had
what
3
is that?
songs to choose from, and you choose the 2 wrong ones.
Oh,
So
I'm
pay
sorry.
attention
I'm
next
open.
time.
You're doing all right, Suzanne. You're doing okay.
Yeah, for a first-time caller, you're spot on.
Yeah, I think
You're
you're
doing
excellent.
great.
She's fantastic, ain't
Yep.
she?
Please call again.
I need Paul to help me.
She's doing great. So anyway, I'm going with Eddie's, and she's going with AJ's, and a lot of memories there. Boy, those Eddie's song there sound like they did it in a gymnasium, but it's a very strong voice, and it was just a very quality 1950s song. But and I thought she was going to go for that until she heard Daddy's Home.
Yeah, I liked the quietness of the song, the second one, and it just, you were more into dancing with that type of music than that last one, which I really did not like. I did not like that one.
Yeah.
Bless you,
Yeah,
my
Goodbye,
God.
Suzanne.
We didn't like it either.
Nice talking to you, Suzanne.
We told him not to
Good
use that
morning.
one.
To whom am I speaking?
Good morning, Tuesday morning. Do you remember Crew?
One of those.
Hi, Moose.
Hello. 3 very good songs, all good choices. 3 very likable songs. I love Tears on My Pillow. That's a classic. But I'm gonna go with, and I like the Dell Vikings. Obviously, you like the Dell Vikings. You played a couple of songs by them, Gary.
I did. I played
Good
one
choice.
a little
Good
not
choice.
too long ago.
But I'm going with Shep. I'm going with Shep in the Limelight. I like Daddy's Home. I had posed a question about the lead singer, AJ, on this guy's name was James Shepard.
Right.
And he was shot outside of his home at the age of 34 years old. And I did some research on this song to find out why he was shot. And the crime was never solved. And he was only 34 years old, and I believe he was shot right outside his home, James Shepard.
That's true.
Shot and killed?
Shot and killed. Oh yes, shot. He was murdered, and that's why that song is connected with the Heartbeats. You're 1,000 miles away, because he was an original member of the Heartbeats.
Right.
James Shep, Blind Mike.
He wrote that song.
He wrote that song.
He wrote Daddy's Home.
Yeah, we all love that song. We all love that song. So, but 3 very good choices. I'm going to go with Daddy's Home. And I think
Thank
maybe
you.
Dave is looking for Breaking Up is Hard to Do
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
Neil
Yep,
Sedaka.
definitely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think he's looking for that. I was number 1 for Sedaka, 62, and then he brought it to the top 10 on a slower version in the mid-70s.
Yeah.
So I think that's what he's looking for. I got a couple of quick questions for you here, guys. This for the audience, please. What number 1 album in 1971? Oh, by the way, Tim,
Yes.
thank you for the book.
Oh,
I picked it up last week.
oh, good. I'm glad.
I picked it up last week, and I haven't delved into it yet, but I will. Thank you so much.
Moose, I'll be honest with you, it's a little bit of a tough read. At least I thought it was. And let's see what you think, because
Well,
you're
Quantum
smarter than me.
Criminals, I mean, the title would suggest that's who they wrote about, more or less, in a
Yeah.
couple of their albums.
Yep.
You know, yeah.
There's a
But
lot of meaning.
let's get back to the question.
There's a
What
lot of
album
meaning in
in
their songs.
71, a number 1 album, guys, in 71, returned to the top of the album charts 50 years later, 2021. 50 years in between. A monster album in 1971 returns to the album charts after being number 1 in 71, 50 years later. And second question, I have another question, but that's later on. This is also for the audience. Elvis, first movie, Love Me Tender. That was not its original name. What was the original name of Love Me
I
Tender?
heard that before.
So we'll leave those 2 questions out. And again, just a slight edge. All 3 good songs, guys. 3 good choices.
Okay.
Okay,
Daddy's
thank
Home.
you.
Thanks.
Good morning. To whom am I speaking?
Hey guys, it's Jim from Pawtucket. How are you
Hey,
today?
Jim.
Hey, Jim.
All right. Good morning, guys. So I'll vote on behalf of Dave as well. So Dave is going to go with the first song,
Okay.
and I'm going to go with Daddy's Home.
Okay.
And I haven't done this in a while. I'll go quick music commonality for everybody. So basically, all 3 artists have a certain word in their song titles. Try to guess the titles with the artists. So let's make this quick. The 3 artists are Elton John, the Bee Gees, and here's the minor curveball I always like to send out, Shania Twain.
Oh, jeez. That is a curveball.
So, Bee Gees, Elton John, and Shania Twain. Unfortunately, I will not be in the office for the rest of the week, so I will leave Dave the answer. If we don't hear any answer by Friday, we will make sure that we give you guys the answer for it, okay?
And this is a song title, correct?
Word in
Song
the song.
titles. They each of them have a common word in their song title.
Okay.
Okay?
That's a good one.
All right, guys. Have a great afternoon. Take care of yourself, okay?
All right, very good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, AJ, you wanted to introduce a topic for discussion.
I do. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it. I want the listening audience to tell us about their first date. If you remember your first date, I was telling Gary I never had a first date. I went right to my second.
And how did that work?
Pretty much like a first. So please call in. Thank you. And vote for Daddy's Home.
And Louise, did you have anything you wanted to talk about today in particular?
Oh, well, I know you're always looking for different kinds of trivia, and I like to focus sometimes on film debuts and who made their film debut in the movie Death Wish. Which famous actor made their film debut in the movie Death Wish?
We just talked about this the other day.
No, we didn't. We talked about Charles Bronson,
Right,
but
but-
not Death Wish in particular.
Right, but the Death Wish subject had come up.
Did it?
Yeah.
Is that for the audience?
Yes, for now.
You two are
Okay.
acting like you're on your first date.
All right.
All right, that's a good question. I don't have anything.
You don't have
I'm
anything?
just writing stuff down, Gary.
How was your trip in Arizona?
It was nice. Arizona was nice. It was a little off. I mean, it was only in the high 60s, so it's still a little chilly. You had to have a windbreaker on or something like that. But I'm not a big Arizona fan. I mean, everything out there is brown. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one color. It's the desert. We did go up to the Barrett-Jackson car show, which was phenomenal. It's something I've always kind of wanted to do. Didn't know it was going to be there when we were there.
So what was the car
It's Scott's
that
there.
if you had the money,
Yeah.
you would have bought?
I was looking at the GTOs, and only one thing stopped me.
First or second generation?
First or second generation GTO.
Yeah.
It was a Judge. So it was 1964, I think.
Okay,
No,
first
no.
generation.
Judge come out
Judge
in
was later.
69. The Judge come out in
But
69.
this might have.
64 was the first GTO.
No, I gotta remember now. It wasn't a 69 though. Maybe I gotta. Well,
Probably
when
later than that.
When I say I was looking until I said to Sandy, "How big is our garage at home?" And I stopped looking after I asked that question because I was told we would not even have a first date if I was going to buy another car. So
And how big is your bank account?
yeah. Well, they were, actually, you know what? They were telling me the classic cars aren't selling.
Yeah, you
at
know
the
why?
high price.
Because they're putting too much of a high price on it.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Steve would probably know better than
The
all
Meek,
of
the
us.
Meekum auction a couple weeks ago took a beating
Really?
because the guy selling the cars put a high reserve on them. Nobody was buying.
And there's
Well,
no reserve on these cars.
No,
at
not
Jackson.
at
Yeah.
Barrett Jackson. There's no reserve.
Well, it's also a generational thing.
Yeah.
There's a generation coming up that couldn't care less about big blocks and
Because they don't
and
work
muscle
on them.
cars.
I agree with you, and it's a shame. But some of these cars, that they've customized a lot of these cars, but they're absolutely gorgeous. I mean, phenomenal looking cars. But you can't have that around here. I mean, I used to have the Corvette, and you can't drive a Corvette around here because the roads are so
No.
bad. You feel every bump. You're afraid where you're going to park it. Is it going to rain? Is it going to hail? You don't know. The GTO, it's up high off the ground. It's a fun car to ride, a convertible. Or a big old caddy, remember the convertible caddies?
Yeah.
They had a few of those. Those are beautiful, but you don't have a place
Well,
to
I
keep
get this thing on Facebook that says, and I think it's at Makem Auctions, that they show what it sold for and what it and cars that didn't get their reserve price.
Yeah.
And I'm stunned at what some of this stuff is going for. I mean, I have 40 grand into my 57 Dodge pickup, but I would be lucky to get 25
You'll
for
never
it.
get back what you put into it.
You're never going to get it back. But with that in mind, I'm seeing some of these, gorgeous things, for 25 grand all day long, and I just, I wouldn't know which one to buy if I had 25 grand with all the choices that you have these days.
They
So,
had some tractors, some John Deere tractors, which were older tractors, all redone, repainted, refurbished. Beautiful, right? If you're into tractors. One of them went for $1,000 because they got no offers
Yeah.
on it. So the
Yeah.
guy threw up his hand and goes, "I'll give you $1,000."
tractor market is really poor. I can tell you that right now for a fact. All right. Good morning. To whom am I speaking?
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, Gary?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Moose Man here, back at you. Louise, I'm going to take a wild shot at your question. How about Jeff Goldblum?
Ding, 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 ding. You are correct, sir.
I remember him watching. He was part of a gang member. He was
Yes.
not a nice kid.
No, and in fact, in the credits, he's given the name Freak Number One.
Freak number one.
Yep.
I thought he was the runner or something like that.
No,
but I
he-
just remember him in that film.
Yep, he was the ringleader of the bad doers.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Very good.
Okay. Thank you, Moose. Good morning. To whom am I speaking?
This is Jim from Woonsocket, but I tell you, that Moose Man, he killed my primary reason for this call today. So now, I was going to say Jeff Goldberg too. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, he was one of the freakazoids that attacked Bronson's family. But I'm going to have to disappoint a couple people out there on your show. I know, when my vote is going to hurt some people, and please accept my apologies if I offend you or make you mad. But I'm going to have to go with Daddy's Girl. I love that song.
No, that's a good song.
It is what it is. You know, and as Walter Cronkite used to say, and that's the way it is.
Yep.
Oh, no need to apologize.
And you're not gonna upset anybody. We don't take it that seriously.
We don't take it seriously.
Well, he says that when he's losing.
I know you guys do. I just don't want to lose Gary's and Steve's friendship on Facebook, okay? Because I always have a great laugh when I talk to you guys. All right, have a great day, guys.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye bye now.
Did I go to a break yet?
No.
I don't think I did. All right, well, I got to go to a break. I'll be right back.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON, Woonsocket Radio, ON, AM, and FM. This ON, AM, and FM forecast brought to you by Boscheman Lumber, 334 Social Street, Woonsocket, 762-1657. A small 20% chance of rain and snow showers this morning, mostly cloudy through mid-morning, then gradual clearing, with the temperature rising to near 34 and then back down to 23 for the remainder of the day. It will be breezy with gusty winds up near gale force, 40 miles per hour. Tonight, snow is 70% likely, mainly between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., cloudy skies, overnight low of 19 with a west wind. Wednesday's weather, a 42-degree high, chance of rain showers and snow before 2 p.m., and then slight chance of some rain to finish off around 4. Chance of precipitation is only 30% Wednesday. Winds could gust up to 25 miles per hour. New snow accumulation of less than a half an inch is possible on Wednesday. Thursday, sunshine with a high near 28. Friday, a 50% chance of snow before 8 a.m. and then a chance of rain later in the day. Mostly cloudy with a high near 44 on Friday. Winds gust to 25 miles per hour from the southwest. Friday night, another 50% chance of rain. Then rain will change to snow as the nighttime brings on colder temperatures. Mostly cloudy. Overnight low will end up around 22 degrees. Saturday, mostly sunny skies and 29 with a north wind. Sunday, mostly cloudy with a high of 35. Sunday night, a 60% chance of rain and snow is likely, mostly cloudy, 27. And Monday, 50% chance of leftover rain and snow, partly sunny later in the day with a high near 46.
Whoops, there goes another Imperial car.
Imperial Car's $75 million clearance event is going on now. Over $10 million of discounts. 2,000 vehicles discounted up to $15,000. Hurry in. When they're gone, they're gone.
ImperialCars.com. Whoops, there goes another Imperial car.
All right, we're back, and good morning. Who am I speaking?
This is Davey again. I just wanted to say Moose was correct on that, and I think you guys on the panel knew that it was Neil Sedaka too, right?
Yeah.
I think Eddie knew, and probably Tim. As far as that song, Dad, the topic or the genre today is doo-wop, you said, right? Not necessarily
No,
50s?
it's 50s.
None. It is 50s. Okay,
Yeah,
that's the genre. So like when you said he kind of cheated, because this was what, 60 or 61?
60.
Yeah.
Because there was still that doo-wop style of
As
music.
long as you know he cheated, it makes us happy.
He
Well,
cheated,
doo-wop
he
went
didn't
into
know.
the early 60s.
Yes, it did. It did. It did
63.
until the rock or whatever, rock and roll really kind of came in and pushed it out, pushed it out. It was over and done.
British invasion.
It didn't continue. Like rock and roll just continued. Well, then it turned into, acid rock, heavy metal rock, and, but good old rock and roll just still. The doo-wop, actually, that manner of singing with all the, doo-wop background and stuff went away. I'm going to put another question out there, and this one has nothing to do with music. I just read this fact. It was there's a structure, and that includes like bridges, buildings, whatever, that took 10 years to build, and I lives were lost in the building of this structure or this endeavor. It took 10 years. And it was, I think, in the early 1900s it was built. If anybody...
It was before
you can blur
OSHA.
this one. Huh?
Are we allowed to blur it?
Yeah, you can blur it on this
There's a
one.
lot of structures that were built.
Yeah.
My guess is excuse me?
You have a blur?
The Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah, that's my guess.
No.
No, I would
You're
have
on
said
the
the
right
Hoover
track
Dam.
there with I don't know about that one, but this one, and it's been in the news lately because Trump has kind of brought it to the forefront in the news. So I'll leave you with that. Okay? And I was just...
Panama
how many
Canal.
lives-
Oh, yeah, the canal.
That is it. Right there.
No, the Panama Canal had over 30,000 deaths.
Yeah. And it was built
Well, no,
in the
that's
70s.
they're approximating
Not the 1900s,
what they
early
have
1900s.
proof
There were 5,000 actual deaths that are
Right.
that are workers, and then there were thousands more, 12,000 plus more that died from other things associated with it, and then
Malaria.
there's all the
Malaria.
people that died later on because they got contracted malaria or yellow
Oh, yeah.
fever. After the fact, I mean, if you add them all up, it's about 30,000+.
And it was built when?
Yeah, it said between 20,000.
Well, and we're
30,000.
counting
It was-
we're counting that when because the French spent a couple of years building that before we came in, and they lost a lot of people.
Right.
So you add them all together, and it's over 30,000.
That's incredible. I think. I mean, the thing. Over a 10-year, it took 10 years, and that many people. Now I wonder how many people died with other things like the Brooklyn Bridge.
The construction
I'm sure
project, the Hoover Dam. I mean, there's still people buried in that cement.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they're always going to be buried in that.
Yeah.
cement. They're not getting out.
and they weren't put there on purpose.
No.
So.
Well, even I remember reading about the Verrazano Narrows Bridge in New York when they were putting up the pylons, the cement pylons, and men would fall off the scaffolding, and they would fall into the wet cement, and they just left them there because they went under, so to speak, and there's no way to get them out and save them.
The Hoover Dam, I believe, is still curing.
Well,
I think so.
I heard that 10 years ago, so I don't know if that's still true, but they did say for a long time that would continue to cure because of the heat. And that cost them less to build the Hoover Dam than it did the visitor center. Because the visitor center was done by the union. And
If you ever get a chance to see that documentary on building that, it is so impressive.
It is.
I mean,
The tunnels.
unbelievable how impressive it is.
Yeah, but what was the name of the Hoover Dam before it was the Hoover Dam?
It was Boulder Dam.
That's right.
I thought it was the Dyson. No. Okay. All right. Well,
Well, we got that out of the way.
we'll answer this call, and I'll tell a first date story. Good morning. To who am I speaking?
Good morning, folks. Dave from North Providence. How are you today?
Hey.
Good song today. I'm going to go with Eddie's song today.
Okay, Tears on My Pillow.
Yeah, great song.
Sounds like my first date.
And I have a couple of trivia questions for you guys.
Yeah, go. Shoot.
Okay, Republic Pictures made mostly westerns and serials, but they made 2 horror movies in their period in the 40s. What were they?
By Republic?
Republic Pictures. Yeah, they made 2 horror movies
What years?
back in the 40s.
In the
Yeah, they were
40s.
known for westerns.
Yeah, westerns and serials they were known for.
Right.
Okay.
And the second question is, what episode from a cartoon series was banned because there were complaints from the Forestry Service?
Cartoon. Band.
Yogi Bear.
Nope, but you're close.
That's a good guess, though. Okay.
There was a cartoon series that had one episode banned for at least 37 years or more because there were complaints from the Forestry Service about this particular episode.
I'm going to say Bugs Bunny.
Nope. We'll leave it out there, guys. I'll give you a call either today or tomorrow on that, okay?
All right.
Okay. All right. So my first date story. I I've told this story before, but it's funny enough to warrant repeating. I was at a Bradley store, and there was a girl, a really, really attractive blonde girl selling cameras. And I really wanted to date this girl, so I bought a camera. I spent $200 on my Pentax K1000. And before I gave her the money, I asked her out for a date. And
Never developed, did it?
I was just going to say that. It's so black and white.
Couldn't resist.
Turns out she was the police chief's daughter in my town. So,
Did you get a date?
So yes, I got the date. And now at the time, I was painting houses. I was driving a yellow Toyota Corolla that had blotches of white paint all over the black seats. So I went to this hardware store and I got some black spray paint and I sprayed the seats.
Oh my God.
So the next day I pick her up. She's in this beautiful yellow chiffon-y type dress, and we go out to dinner and, brought her home. It was, that was pretty much the end of the date. And as she was walking towards the door, I didn't walk her to her door. I should have, but
you cad.
I know.
I don't remember that black.
But I noticed the black paint stuck to her yellow chiffon dress.
Oh. Did you have a second date?
No.
Did you return the camera?
Because spray paint does not stick to vinyl.
He hasn't been able to hear out of that year since.
Did you have to pay for the dress?
She never contacted me again. But anyway, that's my first and last date story with her.
Let us try to explain that to her father.
Oh boy.
But anyway, I'm sure out of the 50 dates that I had, the first dates that I had, I could come up with some more stories, but we'll save those for another day. Good morning. To my speaking.
This is Jim from Woonsocket. I don't see the Moose Man around good, so he's not going to steal my thunder this time. I got the answer, I know that answer, to the cartoon character and series, or that particular episode, that was banned because of FDA, right? The Forest Service objected to it. It was Bullwinkle.
Bullwinkle?
Bullwinkle, right. And I remember this. I remember the episode. They never aired it until recently, and they released it. It was called Stokey the Bear. It was a bear that was hypnotized to start forest fire.
Oh.
Yeah, I've known this for a while. At least somebody, asked a tough trivia question that I knew the answer off the top of my head. Wow.
Well, Moose would have known that. Moose, because it's Moose and Squirrel.
Yeah, so
he would have known that.
Yeah, and I beat him to the call, so...
Yep.
Nah.
Yeah, but do you have the answer to the other one, the two horror movies?
What was that question? What was the question of horror movies?
Two horror movies done by Republic Movies in the 1940s.
1940s.
Yeah, Republic Studios only did serials and westerns for the most part, but they did two horror movies in the 1940s.
Oh, you got me on that one. I'm going to go Republic. Republic, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Republic. Two horror films. Well, it's not Dracula. I don't think it's Frankenstein. Maybe it's right. I don't know. You got me, partner. I'm not as attractive to the ladies anymore, I guess. I'm not up on my horror films.
Yeah, Universal did all the Wolfman and Frankenstein and
that was Universal.
But I can't think of it, so I don't know.
Republic, yeah. I vaguely heard of that, but you guys got me on that one. Well, maybe somebody else could come up with the answer. Who knows?
Well, I'm happy that you came up with one. So, all right.
All right, Gary.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry I voted for Daddy's Girl, but hey, it is what it is. Talk to you later, guys.
All right, we got to go to a break. We'll be right back.
ON 1240.
Here's our tip for having more fun this winter. Ski, smile, repeat. Ski, smile, repeat. Ski, smile, repeat. Check out our 3-day learn-to packages. You always save when you buy online. Go to Wachusett.com.
Northern Rhode Island Council of the Arts is celebrating 30 years of Mardi Gras. The coronation of the Queen is February 23rd and includes an Italian buffet. Tickets $20. The Mardi Gras Ball is March 1st, includes a Creole Cajun buffet, and will feature the Squeeze Box Stompers. Tickets $35. Tickets can be purchased from any Queen contestant or at Missy's Family Restaurant, Cello's, Timeless Antiques, Pine Swamp Place, Beela's Flowers, The Honey Shop, Creative Impressions, Vos True Value Hardware, or call 401-486-9380 or 401-257-5797.
This ON Radio weather forecast is sponsored by Interstate Seal Coating. Call Lance at 401-349-9360 for seal coating and crack filling to parking lot striping. Call Lance at 349-9360 today and he'll seal you tomorrow. A small 20% chance of rain and snow showers this morning, mostly cloudy through mid-morning, then gradual clearing, with a temperature rising to near 34 and then back down to 23 for the remainder of the day. It will be breezy with gusty winds up near gale force, 40 miles per hour. Tonight, snow is 70% likely, mainly between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. Cloudy skies, overnight low of 19 with a west wind. Wednesday's weather. A 42-degree high, chance of rain showers and snow before 2 p.m., and then slight chance of some rain to finish off around 4. Chance of precipitation is only 30% Wednesday. Winds could gust up to 25 miles per hour, and new snow accumulation of less than a half an inch is possible on Wednesday. Thursday, sunshine with a high near 28. Friday, a 50% chance of snow before 8 a.m., and then a chance of rain later in the day, mostly cloudy with a high near 44 on Friday. Winds gust to 25 miles per hour from the southwest. Friday night, another 50% chance of rain. Then rain will change to snow as the nighttime brings on colder temperatures. Mostly cloudy. Overnight low will end up around 22 degrees. Saturday, mostly sunny skies and 29 with a north wind. Sunday, mostly cloudy with a high of 35. Sunday night, a 60% chance of rain and snow is likely, mostly cloudy, 27. And Monday, 50% chance of leftover rain and snow, partly sunny later in the day with a high near 46.
All right, we're back, and no, we don't have any calls. Let's do a studio vote. Tim, who are you voting for?
This is tough, but I think I'm going to go with Eddie, Tears on My Pillow. Just to bring it up a little closer.
AJ.
Daddy's Home.
Okay.
Louise.
Tears on My Pillow.
Oh.
Tears on My Pillow.
Oh, that ties it. Gary? You don't even vote for yourself. It's not going to matter. You know, it's at this point, take the loss and move on.
That's it. Cut your losses.
Can you hear me?
Oh, did you say something? I will go with the crowd here and vote for my own song.
All right. Well, that doubles your count. So.
Yes. It should.
So we've
All
got
right.
Whispering Bells at 2, and the other two each have six.
Don't be patting yourselves on the back here,
Pat
because
myself
we
at
still
all.
have 10 minutes for the people with the good taste to call.
Yeah.
All right. The happy and peppy crowd, you're being summoned. All right.
Snowing out.
Yeah, they said it would.
Yeah, right, snow.
So, did you want to share a first date song?
A first date song?
A memory? I'm sorry. Even all right, first date song.
You know your
even.
first date. What was the song you most remember
Well,
on one of your dates?
remember when people used to have their song?
Of course they did.
Well, did you have a song?
Yeah, Monster Mash.
Monster.
I
My
remember,
first date didn't go well. No, I don't remember. I'll let somebody else answer that. I gotta
Well,
remember one of my best first dates.
when you mentioned like favorite song, I once asked my mother that. I said, was there a favorite song of yours, around the time that you were dating Dad? And she said, well, not so much when we were dating, but she said everywhere we went on our honeymoon, they were playing Hernando's Hideaway. I thought that was funny.
No, your father kept playing it to make sure that it was kind of a subtle thing. So.
I remember the first song on my first date was Daddy's Home. You remember that song, Eddie? Daddy's Home?
I do.
Yeah. Just for that, you get another vote.
Thank you.
You got it.
Speaking of daddies, I had this thing about it was not intentional, and certainly not with. I didn't even know I was doing it, but most of the girls I dated and women and didn't have fathers, or didn't have fathers that were in their lives. So it was. I just over the years, that seemed to be a theme for some reason.
Interesting. You want to talk more about that?
No. No, I don't.
Good.
Good morning. To my speaking.
Hey guys, back at you one more time. This Republic thing, the only thing I recall, I beg your pardon, is that at the beginning with the credits, this is a Republic film, they had a photo of a stone sculpture of an eagle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
in the background, and that's what it. But a horror film, now it couldn't have been. Hammer was Dracula. Is that correct? Hammer Films was Dracula. Is that correct? No.
With Christopher Lee, yes.
No, the film itself, the production.
I don't think so. No.
Yes,
the first Dracula movie, I'm sure, came out with Bela Lugosi long before Hammer was even around.
You're probably right in that, man. Yeah, I'm probably referring to Christopher Lee, a Hammer film. A lot of Dracula with Christopher Lee's. Look, I don't know. The only thing I can think of with horror films with that Republic insignia is maybe the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. You remember that thing they found in the cylinder in the sea and came out of jelly? Turned out to be a huge dinosaur that terrorized the city.
You talking about your first date again? Or is this a movie?
Oh, it's a movie.
Okay.
No, nothing could beat the story of Gary's first date. That's a classic.
That is a classic.
That's a classic. But I don't know. Maybe he's looking for something of a dinosaurus thing or some beast that terrorizes.
Well, it could be. After World War II, a lot of atomic radiation monsters were created in Hollywood.
Right. All right. Any bites on the album? Because it's getting a little late. I'm going to leave one for tomorrow. 71, number one album in 1971, released in 70, spent 31 weeks on the album charts, ending in mid-July of 71. So 50 years later, it returns to the charts and goes to the top 10 again.
Was it Elton John?
No, but it is an individual.
I was going to say Creedence, but you just shot,
I'd
shot
say
that
Barry
in the
Manilow.
foot.
British.
Oh. All right. Don't answer that one yet, Moose. Let us think about it.
Okay.
You gave us a
Is
few
it
more hints.
something with
Monster
Tom?
album. Monster.
I was going to say something with
Love Me
Tom
Tender,
Jones.
What was the original name of the
Pink
film?
Floyd?
Well, no, he said it's an
No,
individual.
not Floyd.
Oh, individual.
Yeah, but Gary can't hear.
Individual.
Okay.
And Love Me Tender, the original name of the film?
Yeah.
No? Geez, I thought you'd be all over this, Gary.
I used to know it, but that's.
I heard it before too. I don't remember it.
You want to leave it out there, or you want me to tell you?
Oh,
Let's leave it out there.
all right.
Okay. Well, that's like that for now. I have another question, but that'll be for tomorrow. But nobody answers, and we'll catch you tomorrow. If somebody gets correct answer, I'll get back to you. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. To my speaking.
I'm now in the funeral procession.
Well,
I got
thanks.
there last, and now I'm first.
Thanks for the update.
But Tim, you were talking about cars at the auction.
Yes.
Worst place to buy a car.
Oh, I would
not
agree
only
with you.
For the 10% buyer, not only for the 10% buyer's premium, but my friend owns Extreme Restoration in Slatersville, and his friend bought a '69 Camaro convertible. He paid $35,000 for it, and he just saw it go across the line. And wow, he's high bidder. The car gets delivered to his house. He gets in the car to drive it, and he can't drive it out of his driveway. The top was down, the boot was on. He lifts the boot off, and the top frame is there with no fabric on it. The rear end was bad. It's just display only.
Well, and that's why they put them in auctions.
A lot of times, but some cars do crazy money, and some are good, but by the time you're done, it's not where you want to be. So
it's kind of a buyer beware.
Words of wisdom about auctions. Absolutely, but you go to an auction, you see the car drives across the floor there, and
they're pushed.
They don't drive; they push them.
Yeah, they push them across.
Yeah.
Some ride, not
Well,
all.
some of them drive, depending on where you go. But you're right.
But
so buyer beware.
But you know
what?
what?
A lot of money, and then you're going to have to spend more.
So, Steve, a lot of the guys at the auction were saying how the cars aren't even coming close to getting what they used to get.
Now we know why.
That's correct. Because, well, and when you're at the auction, you're at a big ego fest. I'm going to buy. I'm the big man.
Yeah.
These people got more money than brains on the most part of it.
Oh, that's okay if you're selling. It's not good if you're
And
buying.
a lot of them just take them home, and they put them in with their other 100 cars that never going to see the light of day.
So you know those VW buses that I was sending you pics of? Those were all Brazilian buses, brought in and retroed with the windows and everything else, with the Safari windows and all that. So they're not original U.S. buses.
Oh.
And I didn't know anything about them. So the person I was with was highly educated in that field and was telling me all about it. But he said the people that don't know anything about those buses will pay high dollars for something, and then later on when they go to sell it, they'll say, "No, that's not an original," and they'll go, "Well, I didn't." So yeah, you're right. Did
they do close to 6 figures?
I don't know because I didn't watch that auction, but I can go on and look to see what they ended up getting.
Steve, what was the transition year from Generation 1 to Generation 2 GTOs?
64 to 67, 68 to 72, 73 was all its own, 74 was on based on a Nova.
When did the judge come out?
69, like you said.
Yeah, okay. So you know why it was called the Judge?
Because they're laughing.
Yeah, after Ronan Martin's laughing.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I learned that while I was there. Here comes the Judge.
And it was supposed. It started out life as competition for the Roadrunner. It was supposed to be a bare bones car with a 350 engine, and that's why if you see a Judge, it's got Rally 2 wheels. They got no trim rings because they were trying to keep it cheaper, and then they went crazy with it.
Well, they had about 5 of them in that carousel red.
Yeah, it's actually orange.
Yeah. Well, I know, but they call it carousel red.
Call it carousel
yeah.
red. It's actually orange.
Yeah.
It's competition.
It's the most orange I've ever seen.
It's Chevy orange. Competition orange.
The first 2,000 Judges were carousel red.
Yeah.
So,
Are we done with Steve?
No,
we're talking to Steve here.
Steve, you remember? Steve, you remember your first date?
With my wife?
Oh no, your first date. It could be with your wife.
My first date. Yeah, they did none of. They weren't memorable. The first date with my wife was memorable, and that's a long story that would take a whole show. But my first date, they were all failures until I met my wife.
Well, glad to hear that. I would hope they weren't great first dates.
We'll have our 43rd. Our 43rd anniversary is coming up in 4 months.
God bless your wife.
Not many people can say that.
That's true.
That is true.
And on another line, do you know why men die before women?
They want to.
Because they want to.
Yep.
Anyway, bye, everybody. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Good morning. To whom am I speaking?
Good morning, guys. Dave from North Providence again.
All right,
I always
Dave.
go to laugh when Steve ends up a call.
Speaking of wives, happy birthday to yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. She's a great lady, and so lucky to have her.
I hope you always feel that way.
Do you remember your first date with her?
Yeah, actually, we met at the showcase in Warwick, see the movie Hairspray, and she was so shy that because it was a blind date, she was so shy that she almost left. If I hadn't shown up when I did, she would have left because she was so afraid of, so shy of who she was going to meet. But she didn't say like 3 words during the entire movie. Went out to dinner at the On the Border restaurant, and then we took her home. And the next morning we went to the Rocky Hill Flea Market and did shopping. And there was a funny story. She saw an ornament, which was a wrestler. I think it was Kevin Nash coming out of a chimney with a Santa hat on, and she told me, why is Jesus coming out of a chimney with a Santa Claus? Because Kevin Nash at the time had long hair and a mustache. I said, no, that's a wrestler, not Jesus. So I ended up buying the ornament. We still have it today. So,
What version of Hairspray did you go see?
We went to see the movie. Actually.
No, I thought you said Hairspray.
Yeah, it was Hairspray. It was the Travolta movie.
That was a great one. I love that movie. Travolta did a phenomenal job, and if you've ever see it, there's one scene when they go into the dressing room, and he's gonna, Travolta's gonna get dressed up first time in years, and his Vinnie Barbarino voice comes out when he sings, and it's funny as anything. Also, because I didn't realize that was Travolta at first. He's in drag, and all of a sudden I hear it, and I'm like, that's Travolta. That's Vinnie Barbarino. It's a really good soundtrack.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Really good movie. I'm glad that was our first
Walken's
movie
is Christopher Walken is awesome in that.
Yeah,
they did a good job.
I love Christopher Walken.
Yeah, he's great.
I think I might have an answer to Moose's question. Jim and I have been thinking about it. I think it might be George Harrison.
For the
album? He had an album that was released in '71 that was re-released in 2021. All Things Must Pass.
Oh.
I didn't know that came back, but all right.
Yeah.
I was also.
And I got answers for you guys on the questions I put out there.
Okay.
Republic released 2 horror movies in 1946. They were the only horror movies they had in their collection. The first one was called Valley of the Zombies.
Yep.
And the second one was a take on Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It was called The Cat Man of Paris, where this guy had a curse put on him where he turned into a cat monster, like a Mr. Hyde type character.
Okay.
Very rare film. And the cartoon, which is kind of a funny story, the cartoon that had an episode band was Dudley Do-Right.
Yeah.
And the episode band was called Stokey the Bear.
Yep.
And it was in the episode, the villain, Snidely Whiplash, hypnotizes the bear to go stoke fires all over Canada.
All right. So
and,
it wasn't Bullwinkle.
The
It was
National
Dudley
Forestry
Do-Right.
The Forestry Service had an issue with that because of Smokey the Bear.
Yep.
But the episode ends where Stokey the Bear goes to Chicago and lights the Chicago fire, and Do-Right tells Mrs. O'Leary to blame the cow.
All right, because somebody called in and said it was Bullwinkle.
Well, it was the Bullwinkle.
But that was the same show.
Wasn't
right?
it the Bullwinkle show?
It was a Bullwinkle show. Bullwinkle J. Moose.
Yeah,
right?
it was Dudley Do-Right.
Yep. Okay.
That's all I got, guys. Have yourselves a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
And I wonder if the album was not All Things Must Pass, but the concert for Bangladesh. Because, 50 years later, wouldn't they be, remembering that and celebrating that? So I think his guess about Harrison sounds right, but I'm wondering if the album is Concert for Bangladesh.
Well, while we're
we're
waiting.
going to find out because Moose is calling right now.
calling right now.
Good morning. To whom am I speaking?
All things must pass.
Okay. All right.
Nice going, Dave.
So what was the reason for its second life and 50 years later?
Well, because it got such great acclaim when it first came out. It was a triple disc album, Gary. And many critics tabbed it as brilliant as far as the production of it, the whole 9 yards of it. And it just stayed on and stayed on. Of course, the Beatles things and usually still linger on today. So 50 years later, people must have realized that, there's some real good stuff on this album. My Sweet Lord comes from this album. That kind of jackrabbit the whole album, but there's more to it than that. There's a couple of songs in there that are very, very good. Waiting on You All. Harrison was very, very spiritual. There's no doubt about it. Listen to some of his songs, and he was very, very deep into that. So, but that's a long story with that particular album. But Dave is correct. All things must pass. Have a good day, guys.
All right.
All right.
All right, Will, you just reminded me of another first date I had when you said spiritual.
Had to be a second date. You already talked about the first one.
No, that was it. I misunderstood your question. You said our first date. I'm talking about first dates in general with a particular person.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So
You dated a general?
So I dated.
Just being.
So I went on a date with a girl that a friend of mine was going out with her sister. He introduced me to her, so I asked her out on a date. We went to the Cable Car Cinema in Providence, and across the street was an Irish pub, so we went out to get something to eat after that. So we're sitting down, the first real chance to talk. I mean, going to a movie on a first date is kind of stupid, really. That you don't talk to each other. You're just watching a movie, but maybe it gives you something to talk about later. Who knows? But anyway, so we're having dinner and we get talking, and one of my favorite discussion topics is the thing you're not supposed to talk about, which is religion. And turns out that she belonged to the to the Dutch Reformed Church. And
Dutch Reform?
Dutch Reform.
Did you have the wooden shoes?
No, Reform. They didn't use the wooden shoes.
Oh, that's why.
So
It was just windmills in my mind.
So she discloses that, and I said, okay, well, I'm an atheist. And she started crying.
Whoa.
She had never met an atheist before. She thought we had horns and were, all kinds of evil things.
You tell you left those home?
And so she started crying, and I said,
Usually it's a second date they cry with you. Huh?
What did you think an atheist was? And she's certainly not a nice guy like you. So anyway, we ended up dating for well over a year, I think. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Did you convert her?
That I can't talk about, but yes, to some degree. Certainly she had some second thoughts about certain things. But anyway, that'll do it for us today.
So the final count.
We don't really need to go there. We'll see you tomorrow.
We know it's not Whispering Bells.
They're not whispering anymore.
Maybe you should just do 2 songs on Tuesdays.
I'm starting to think so.
Yeah,
one of them won't be mine.
You're splitting the votes.
Yeah, that was not even close with yours, Gary. And that was the Happy and Pappy song, and I think that cost you. Because I think the other 2 songs are such good classic songs. And
So who won?
Nobody. It's a tie.
Oh, it's
Tears
a
on My
tie.
Pillow,
Okay, well,
Daddy's
that's
Home.
the best. I love it when we have ties.
And it's a 2-way tie. So if somebody wants to call... Wow, my God, it's 20 of. We went late.
We got to go.
All right, we got to go. Call in tomorrow.
Joe's out there having a heart attack, probably. So, all right, we'll be back tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
WOON Woonsocket.